Hello and welcome to another 515 live stream catch up. If you're joining us live today, please send us a message in the chat. Tell us who you are and where you're watching from. If you want to ask a question or just say hi, we can bring it up on the screen and bring you in as part of our content. If you're watching this in the YouTube library after the fact, thank you for checking in too. These catch-up episodes are designed to bring back previous guests and to see what they've been up to see how those events turned out that we talked about, and to check in on what's going on in their lives in general. Tonight we are doing this live stream to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the start of the 515 Ultraman podcast as it was first known. My first episode was published on January 29th, 2021, if you can believe it. So I had to ask back the show guests from the first show. And unfortunately, Steve King obviously was a big part of that first show, but is not available tonight. But I do have my other guests from that first episode. Chad Bentley, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, thanks, Larry. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no, of course, man. You were the first guest. You're the first guy I went to when I wanted to make this podcast. I appreciate you coming back and celebrating this anniversary with me.
Well, congratulations on 5 years of podcasting. It's remarkable. It really is.
Yeah, it is. You know, I try and look at a lot of the podcast stats and things like that, and they say that most podcasts don't make it past episode 7 or 8. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good in this little business.
You are. I think you've really contributed to the ultra world in a pretty big way too.
Well,
I'm sure you've
thanks.
helped inspire a lot of people to enter into some of these crazy races.
Yeah, yeah. And that is obviously the purpose of this, is to help share the lives of the people doing this, whether they are just starting out in it or they're thinking about it and they want to know what's going on. These are the stories that we tell. This is the story we told of you and how you got involved as well. I appreciate those thoughts on our 5th anniversary here. Oh, there we go. This is what happens when you're live. I'm trying to adjust that camera. Of course, your wife is also known to my audience, even if they don't know it. She is the person who does the introduction, Mary Jo. So thanks to her again for doing that. I've got a lot out of that little bit of work that she did for me.
Yeah, she has a great voice.
She does. It worked out really well. And I
Yeah.
know with Mary Jo, she's kind of a lifelong learner who likes to take on these massive projects and dig into them really deep for a couple of years. What's Mary Jo been up to these days?
It's back in, oh my God, because, like we were saying, Larry, with 5 years with of your podcast, it's, it's amazing how fast time actually goes by, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that time period, since you've had the podcast going on, she finished her master's degree.
Right.
She did her master's in screenwriting, and she did it in England.
Yeah.
And
Did she go to any kind of popular school we might have heard of in England for that?
well, she did like a writer's retreat, like a summer retreat at Oxford.
Yeah.
And then oh my God, she's gonna kill me. Because now I'm on the spot. I can't remember what the school's called. I'm drawing a complete blank.
That's all right. You mentioned Oxford. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but yeah. So after she did this kind of like 1 month retreat at Oxford, it was like a certificate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She decided to do her master's degree in screenwriting. So,
Right.
and she traveled during COVID back and forth. So when the master's was coming kind of to a conclusion, she decided she wanted to write and co-direct a short film. So she shot that in North Vancouver.
Right.
So, and then it was entering it into films festivals, and where she won some awards. She, oh my God, again, we traveled over to Amsterdam or yeah, for, I can't remember the name of the film festival. anyway, put me on. I should have made notes, Larry. It's live, right?
You didn't know I was going to ask questions
But I
about
didn't know
your
you were gonna
wife.
ask it.
This is about
Anyway,
you.
yeah, but she ended up winning. It was like the best short film
Yeah.
in like the European Union type deal.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, she had some successes.
Yeah.
She won
It
some
was
others
a
as well.
fabulous film. I went to one of the screenings here in North Van.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it. Yeah.
So, you know, and then, you know, we've got a couple kids, so life gets extremely busy. So you've ever heard that that term, kind of living on fallow ground or standing on fallow ground? Basically, she's been doing that for the last couple of years, but
Yeah.
she's getting ready to jump back into some big projects.
Okay. Yeah. She's
Yeah,
always got some
so-
big projects going.
Her mind is always spinning, you know, but
Yeah.
the kids, as they're getting older, you know, we got one that's a teenager now, and then one that's
Yeah.
10. Just
Yeah.
they're so busy with
They're
their,
5 years older now too. Magella and Burgess,
Yeah.
or Juju and Birdie.
yeah, Juju and Birdie, and they're, so it's just like Juju's a competitive swimmer,
Mhm.
and she's like at the provincial level. She's at the pool. I don't know. I think she has one day off. That's it, a week, and some
Yeah.
days are double swim days. And then my youngest daughter, Birdie, she's at dance downtown Vancouver. So it's just nonstop driving, right?
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
but it's good. It's good. It was easier to do big projects and get involved with in heavy endurance athletics when the kids were really young.
Yeah.
It'd be tough
Yeah.
now.
But now they have real lives that interfere with yours.
Yeah.
It's not you telling them where they're going to go anymore. It's them telling you where you need to take them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're basically just spend our lives basically driving around.
Yeah. But
And
soon
right now
that'll
I popped up.
change. And
It will.
and then you'll be like looking for more things to do again when you get your time back.
Well, I know, you know, and we always talk about it. We're like, you know, sometimes we complain, you get frustrated because you're always driving around, but you know, in another 5 years, things are going to change,
Yeah.
you know, drastically, and we're going to be sad that those days are over.
Exactly,
So we really do need to be present and enjoy it as much as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that the family's doing well.
Yeah, they're trucking along. So, and I popped up here to Penticton just for like basically just to check in on we have a property up here, hadn't been up here in months. And so Mary Jo's handling the driving for a couple of days on her own. So that gets a little bit tricky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's good.
Well, we do have a little hello that has come in from overseas. So I'll pull this up and give this guy a little credit for checking in with us here. It is our vagabond friend.
Oh.
Hi from Oz. This, of course, is Nick Millette. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
He's another one that I have to do a live catch up with. Nick obviously was a big part of the live stream we did with Australia earlier this year. The guys like put in numerous hours, jumped out on course and talked to the racers as they were on the run day, and did commentary on the other days for me, and really appreciated his contribution to that. So Nick, hey, thanks for tuning in and thanks for your help. I'm going to be giving you a call soon to talk about this year's edition as well.
I'm sure he's got some big, crazy cycling adventures happening in Australia somewhere, eh?
Oh yes, he always does, that guy.
I think the last time I saw Nick, because it's been a while, we had we had a session at the old Bad Tattoo Brewery there here in Penticton.
Oh right, yeah.
Just him and I. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, thanks for tuning in, Nick. You know, when I first started this podcast, Chad, I had the idea to do it. It was December of 2020 when I had the idea to do it. And I wanted to do it to try and promote Ultraman in general, and obviously the Ultraman Canada race where I was co-race directing at the time. And I wanted to get some more information out about it and highlight the people that were coming to the race. And when I had the idea to do this, you were actually the first person that I called. I don't know if you remember this, because it was in December of 2020. You returned my call because I didn't catch you the first time, and I was at work. and I work in a high school in phys ed. And so I stepped into the weight room where nobody was, and we had a conversation. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And you're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And I was like, yeah, would you like to be co-host? Because I don't know if I just want one voice. And you're like, no, I'm not going to have the time for that. Do you remember this story?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it worked out well for you just going off on your own, Larry, and embracing the challenge, because you've done really well with it. So
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm sure it would have been just as good with the two of us talking to people. Yeah, because at the time, most of the podcasts were, 2 or 3 people talking to their guests. And I thought, oh, well, maybe that's the way you got to do the format. But yeah, it's worked out okay for me. I'm happy with the way things have gone. So, but I do appreciate you taking my call and giving me some advice, because at that time, your wife Mary Jo, that we mentioned earlier, she was doing her own podcast, and I just had some general questions about things, and so I jumped back on the internet, and within a month, I had 3 episodes created, and I learned how to produce and do the sound and all that stuff. And from there, we've ended up here 5 years later, and I can't believe it, Chad.
have you gone back, and I guess I'm sure you have, and you listen to that very first episode, and you see how your interviewing skills has become so much better over the last 5 years? Have you seen that? And you...
I can't say that I have, but also with that first episode, it was one of the easiest as far as talking to people, because I was talking to Steve King and I was talking to you. And like our conversation was so conversational. It just kind of flowed, and everything was, happening so easily. After that, I did spend more time, trying to research guests and get to know them. But I already knew you, so it was easy to have that conversation. So thank you for being my first guest. It made it a lot easier.
You get to know somebody quite well, when you're crewing together.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
just the 2 of you.
Well, let's get back and take a look at you at that time, because we're here to talk about you. You were going to be at the next Ultraman Canada at that time, and this was the description that I used for you at that time. So I want to read this back to you, and then you can tell me what has changed since this description, what we can add to it, what we can subtract, what we need to know. So I said, Chad is a well-respected plant-based endurance athlete. He is a marathoner, ultramarathoner, multi-time Ironman finisher, 2-time Ultraman finisher, 2-time Ultra 520 finisher, and the first Canadian to compete in the Epic 5 Challenge. So how does that stand up 5 years later?
Yeah, all pretty accurate, except for the vegan part. I ditched that world.
You ditched that world. What happened there?
Geez, so when I was 50, I had a pretty big year of events. I did a Belgian waffle ride, which is I can't remember the distance of it. I think it was like 250 kilometers of gravel riding. It's a race.
Yeah.
And then I did the Haute Route Pyrenees, and then I finished off the summer with the Epic 5 Ultra Run, which is 5 50-kilometer runs in 5 days, 5 different Hawaiian islands. And I had hired a nutritionist, and I leaned out, or I got light anyway. And it was the lightest I'd ever been. I got down to like under 200 pounds, which is very small for me. I walk around right now at like 230 pounds. So when I got home, I saw this thing called a DEXA scan that was being advertised. So for Valentine's Day, because I'm a romantic, I got the 2-for-1 deal. So Mary Jo and I went for a DEXA scan.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you know what that is, but you lay on this bed, and they scan your body, and it tells you your percentage of body fat. It's the most accurate, telling you what your weight is, your what your percentage of lean mass is, and everything. So when we went in there, I was like, right on. This is going to be good. Like I'm going to be happy with being 50 years old and
have the body of a 40-year-old.
yeah, you know, everything's going to be looking really, really, really rosy
Right.
for that part of my life. Anyway, so we go through the DEXA and then they give you your results right away. So we go through Mary Jo's and hers is pretty good. You know, she's like, you know, it's, you know, she's not quite doing the same athletic feats that I was doing at that time.
Right.
So, you know, and it sets a goal for you, you know, what you've, you know, here's your baseline. This is what you can work towards. So, and then they brought up mine and I was like, what the, and I can swear on your podcast, I take it there, but I was like, what the fuck? You know, I had the, you know, I was like, I don't know, 28% body fat and my lean mass was down. I was essentially turned into what I would describe as like a skinny fat man.
Okay.
That's the way I was. And I wasn't expecting that for
Mhm.
all the years of triathlons and doing them plant-based. Like,
Right.
you know, I've done Epic 5. I was, you know, plant-based, all the ultras plant-based. So when I walked out of that office, I was like, I'm going to do a 180 here and I am going to try something different. I was down about it,
Yeah.
you know, and I understand. And to also mention, I was doing CrossFit at the
Yeah. You
same
went through a
time.
CrossFit stage.
Oh yeah, I was like CrossFit and just, you know, I wasn't making a ton of gains either.
Yeah.
However, I was training for like a 250-kilometer run in 5 days. So I mean, that I understand you eat your lean mass when you run a lot and when you do heavy endurance sport. So anyway, so I kind of went back and looked at everything and thought, well, I better start eating more protein. So I'm going to introduce some chicken breast into my diet, and then I decided to go right back into red meat and everything. Just, you know, from some of the research I was doing on protein intake and the importance of protein and everything. So
Yeah.
and so
That's
yeah,
all the
so that,
rage again now. Protein is the thing that's in every diet. Protein, protein, protein.
oh yeah, but you know, I'd go get my blood tested and stuff over the years, and I was always low iron and low B12. That
Mm-hmm.
should have been probably the first sign that I shouldn't have been plant based.
Right.
You know, some people it works and others it doesn't.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I was just dragging my ass around and always low energy, and I'd still get up and go for the long runs and long rides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it also affects your mood and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
so I just went back to, yeah, eating red meat. I, since that time, after doing, like, I had a huge year when I was turning 50. Like, I planned it that way. It was going to be like some big events.
Yeah.
Since then, I basically was still going to CrossFit. We're like, okay, my trainer's like, you're gonna stop running and you're just gonna lift.
Yeah.
So we just started lifting really heavy,
Mm.
and I would monitor all the protein intake. Like I would shoot for like 220 grams of protein a day, which takes work.
Yeah.
And I was able to put some lean mass on.
Okay.
So right now I'm walking around at a lower percentage of body fat, and I put some lean mass on. Okay. So I feel better than I've ever felt.
You got the energy now to do.
Yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have like, you know, I was getting a lot of, you know, glute issues and you know, just muscle strains and everything, you know, typical stuff from running and cycling. I don't really have that right now, which kind of feels good. So yeah. Anyway.
And what about the rest of your diet? Have you made any changes there? Are you like non-dairy, or are you just a balanced diet altogether?
I eat dairy. Yeah. I drink high protein milk. You know, I guess over the years, you know, I listened to podcasts, and the vegan thing, and especially in triathlon, was a kind of maybe all the rage.
Yeah.
But I don't know, when you're Northern European, you didn't get by eating fruit and vegetables, right? It's root vegetables and meat. So anyway, so I just adjusted it that way. I eat a ton of fruits and vegetables still, and try to stick to whole foods and eat healthy. But I do eat animal protein now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that would be the biggest thing
That's the biggest
that would
change since then. Yeah. Well, and these gravel races that you've taken on, can you expand a little more on these adventures? Like what brought you to do those? I think you went with friends to challenge yourself on these. Tell us a little bit about these.
Yeah, when in a few years back, I did my first time doing a gravel race was the BC bike race, and it was the Gravel Explorer. So it's a 5 day stage race all through the South Okanagan. It was phenomenal.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was like out in Naramata, Summerland. Yeah, it was just unique courses all the way through, all off of like the old Kettle Valley Railway, and
Excellent. Yeah.
it was really challenging. So that was my first time. I bought a gravel bike, and my buddy Greg Veach invited me to join a team. So I went into that race totally unprepared. You know, triathlete jumping into the gravel riding. It was a lot of like steep single track and drops. Like I was like back in the 90s when I used to mountain bike. That was the kind of stuff I mountain biked on.
Right. And now you're
You know,
racing it.
yeah. So anyway, so I was totally unprepared for that. But I've never not finished a race that I started.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had some pretty nasty wipeouts, and yeah, I didn't have even the proper gear, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I made it through, and then learned from it. And then from after that, I did one of those Belgian waffle rides, and those are crazy. I don't even know if it went on this year or not, but it was in Cowichan.
On the island, right? For people
Yeah.
from our area, you were over on Vancouver Island for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool because it was kind of they kind of pitched it like triathlete versus road cyclist versus mountain biker.
Oh yeah.
So so it was I think oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Professional kind of professional cyclist. I am drawing a blank again. Anyway, it was a roadie that ended up winning it.
Oh,
But
wow.
my God, some of the stuff they rode on their gravel bikes, I had to get off and walk.
Oh yeah.
It was insane. It took me like 10 and a half hours. Like, yeah, it was wild. So anyway, but it was fun. Probably definitely the single, the toughest single day cycling event I've ever done.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh.
And yeah, so and then after that, I just got back into the road, and then I did a true road cycling event. That was the Haute Route Pyrenees,
Right.
which is just phenomenal. I loved it. Oh,
Trying to.
so good.
Sorry, I'm just trying to bring up this thing, but I'm not using my technology properly here. So we'll let that go for now. Sorry, tell me about the Pyrenees.
Yeah, so the Pyrenees, again, that's a 5 day stage race all through France, or started in Andorra.
Okay, yeah.
And then you ride up in the Pyrenees. The day one you stayed in Andorra. Day two you start in Andorra, end up in France, and then you start in France, you end up crossing the border into Spain, climb the Pyrenees through Spain, and then you end up dropping back into France at the end of the day. Anyway, and you just finish off in these little French towns in the Pyrenees.
Nice.
And it's like you pack your bag up at night, you just leave it down in the lobby. They take it, pack it up for you, and then they take it away and drop it at your next hotel that you stay at.
Oh yeah.
It was
full
amazing.
Concierge service.
yeah, it was great. I definitely do one of those again.
Yeah.
But again, come from the triathlon world where I spent 90% of my time training alone, never in a peloton. And no drafting or anything like that. And then you jump into one of these large road races. That was a little bit of an eye opener as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And when you're doing something like that, do your skills quickly come in? Like, do you learn what to do, or are you just like oh the whole time, or are you learning on the job there?
I was learning on the job because prior to going to the Pyrenees, I never trained with a group.
Right.
I just spent a lot of time in the trainer. I'd come up here to Penticton, and I'd ride up, up to Apex and that kind of thing, just to get the climbing in.
Yeah.
But when you were down on anything that's flat and you were riding with a group, if you didn't stay with that group, they were gone.
Yeah. You get dropped.
But some of the European cyclists, they were kind of giving me pointers and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So it was good. It was good.
Yeah. Well, we're getting some comments here from another person you'll recognize, and that's Kevin Hines. So he's got.
Hey, Kevin.
I got to get this in the right spot. Sorry, Kevin, for messing up your comment. He's got Go Team Bacon for you.
Go Team Bacon.
I think when you were talking about your your
Kevin,
weight
I don't
there.
eat bacon, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like the worst meat you can possibly eat. Yeah.
He's saying hi from the Skaha side. He's just down the road from me right now.
Yeah, just down the road.
Yeah.
He's probably out riding in this cold weather too.
Yeah, I saw him post earlier that he's wanting to get back to his earlier times on Ironman. So good luck with you on that, Kevin. He's definitely putting some work in. He's recently retired, and he's taken full advantage of it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that retirement, Kevin.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that you've gotten into recently, because we've had some chats, and that's jiu-jitsu. Tell me about how that came about.
Yeah, I for years I've wanted to get into a martial art. And when I was a kid, I'd kind of dabble in it a little bit. And then as I got older, I had interest in doing jiu-jitsu, and obviously I spent most of my time just doing triathlon. Mm-hmm. And then just over a year ago, I decided to jump into it and go for it before I got too old. I was a little bit concerned about that. I'm 52 now, so I joined a club in North Vancouver. It's called Definitive Jiu-Jitsu, and I train with some amazing people. It's just such a welcoming club. It's kind of, I didn't really expect it to be like, I don't know what I was actually thinking. Thinking what the club would be like. I wasn't sure how, what type of people would be doing jiu-jitsu or whatever, but everybody is so respectful and welcoming, and nobody's out there to hurt each other or anything like that. So it's been a great experience.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Even at those times when I end up and humbling, it's been very humbling. Right.
Right.
Yeah. If you think you're tough, you go into a jiu-jitsu club and it humbles you pretty fast.
Especially when the 8-year-old kid's taking you down, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I train all the time. I've spent the last year training with this young guy. He's not small. I'm a lot bigger though.
Yeah.
He's probably like 185 pound, 19, 20-year-old. Right. I'll call him a kid. Right. I'm old enough to be his dad. Yeah. And he basically he's taught me a lot. He's an upper belt, but he's definitely humbled me. It's a joke around my house. Whenever I get home, Mary Jo always asks me, "Did you get Wyatted today?" His name's Wyatt.
Okay.
But I absolutely love it. It's probably, I played a lot of growing up. It was rugby and hockey, and I like contact sports.
Right.
And I think jiu-jitsu is definitely the funnest thing I've ever done.
Oh, okay.
I like it that much. Yeah. So, yeah.
Something you're going to stick with for a few more years then.
Yeah, it takes a long time to progress. I'm like 3/4 of the way to the next belt, I guess.
Okay.
So, but it takes years to get like a black belt. It's not like karate or something like that. It takes over a decade, I think, to get a black belt. So.
And are you doing competitions or just training?
I did one competition.
Yeah.
That was when I first started. And then, but I think just training I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
There are lots of competitions you can go into, like masters, competitions for your age group and weight class.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe we'll see.
Yeah. It seems like you really jump around in what you do. You know, you started off in rugby, you go into this linear sport of triathlon, you're in CrossFit, jiu-jitsu. I mean, you like to dabble and see the different things. You must have learned how to work out every part of your body by now.
Yeah. Well, like, growing up playing hockey and then rugby at the same time, I loved rugby. It was the sport to this day, it's my favorite sport,
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I took a bad knee injury and I just couldn't come back
Mm.
from that. So
Yeah.
I tore out my ACL and all the cartilage and everything. And then, after that injury happened, I went into a state of depression for a few years because I didn't know what I was going to do as far as athletics go, because I've always played a sport.
Right.
So, that's when the unhealthy lifestyle kicked in, a lot of drinking and
Right.
was even smoking and,
Yeah.
on and on it goes.
Yeah.
But triathlon was the thing was, oh, right, there's this great multi-sport, events we can train for and set goals and do all that and meet new people and everything. So, I mean, triathlon was a life-saving sport to enter into. I love it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
in that first episode, we talked about your background a little bit, and what was it? Was a 5K or a 10K that you said saved your life at some point? That first thing that you did before you got to try even?
Yeah, well, Mary Jo and I we did the CIBC Run for the Cure,
Okay.
like 2000 and I'm gonna say like 2004, and it was downtown Vancouver, and it was a lot of people around, a lot of runners, and it was a 5K. So when we finished it, I was like, this is really cool. And I was quite out of shape then, like running a 5K. Like I didn't train for the 5K or anything. We just went out and probably did a walk run type deal,
Yeah.
And then a year after that, I did the Vancouver Marathon in 2005.
Yeah. Always trying to jump ahead right away, huh? 5K to marathon.
I did not train properly for that one. I got beat by a lady. I'll never forget this. When she crossed the finish line in front of me, and she had to be in her late 60s.
Yeah.
And she had a crooked back, Larry.
And I remember, because you were watching it for a long time, right?
Whacked out sport. Well, yeah, she was. I was dead. I had bonked. I was like walking, like I was just beat. And this lady just burns past me, and like the poor woman's back was like, she had some problems, and it wasn't just because of the race. This was like a physical problem that she had to deal with. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, running, right?
Yeah. There's
another sport that's humbling. Never underestimate somebody by their looks. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that we learned about you in that first episode is we learned that you, like your occupation, and you and your brothers owned that power line company. And at that time you were looking to try and retire and get away from it. And I think in the 5 years since, you actually have. So that's happened. And also at that time you were like kind of soft launching a coaching job for yourself as well, not triathlon coaching, but another style of coaching. And now that you've retired and gathered some time, and I think probably got a little more work in on the coaching credentials, you've recently gone on a hard launch on this. So can you tell us a little bit about your coaching business?
Yeah. So I mentioned to you before, I started training in neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnosis, and diving into a theory called Claire Graves' the evolution of consciousness, which is it's the evolution of your values as a human being.
Yeah.
So I started training for that in 2016, and then I did more in 2018. And all while I was training, we were my brothers and I were building up this power line business, because I'm a power line technician by trade and project manager. And in 2021, we were fortunate enough to sell it. So I've just recently completed my contract with the company. So
Okay.
now I'm focusing on launching the coaching business.
Right.
And it's taken a while for me to actually figure out what I want the coaching business to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I also mentioned to you before that most people presume that I'm a triathlon coach because of, the endurance events
Exactly.
that I've
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
But I'm not a triathlon coach. So over the last few years, when people have approached me for coaching, it's always had something to do with health and wellness or running or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy to do it. But and by the way, this website that Larry that you're pulling up here is getting completely redone right now.
Yeah.
It's going to
Okay.
have a less of a athletic.
You take the athletic feel away so that you don't get
Yeah,
confused
yeah.
in those regards. Yeah.
So the coaching, I'm going to launch a coaching program, and it is just going to be for men, and it's going to be utilizing neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, and hypnosis as kind of the starter for life transformation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and then I'm going to base it on Claire Graves' values levels.
Okay.
So helping men evolve through the different levels of values of life.
Mm.
So there are 8 levels of values, and they're actually numbered 1 through 8. And
Convenient.
yeah, very convenient, pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is actually explaining it. But it's like, if 1 is survival, level 2 is, working with others in order to survive. So it's kind of like you've got the odd numbers are I or me, the individual levels. Even numbers would be the kind of we, us, living in community type deal, right?
Mm.
So there's, then level 2 would be working with someone. Level 3 is power. So as men, we need to learn to embrace our personal power in a positive way,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? So you can be stuck in values level 3, and it could come out in a very negative way with anger, potential addiction issues,
Mm-hmm.
On and on it goes. It can go really deep into relationships and everything, or even into your work life. And then level 4 is like living in with rules and morals, and living, again, enter the church type deal or religion, that kind of thing, laws. Level 5 is entrepreneurship. Level 6 is just the evolution of becoming a fully kind of more integrated human being in society.
Mm.
And on and on it goes.
Right.
So anyway, so it's I do a podcast as well,
Yeah.
but they're solo casts. And I started out this Face Plants to Finish Lines podcast interviewing people. So I've actually got a few episodes in there where I've interviewed people, but now I just do solo casts that are primarily focused just on coaching.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, your first season was very similar to what I do with the Ultra podcast, where it was conversational, getting to know a person in depth,
yeah,
and then I saw here on season 2, episode 1, that you've like, we're flipping this, we're focusing this only on the coaching now, and each episode seems to be introducing one of these concepts that you've been talking about.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about values levels, that's what the primary focus of the podcast is going to be going forward. Mm-hmm. It's kind of working with the unconscious mind, really.
Yeah.
Right. So, so I haven't really got to the phase where I haven't done very well at marketing. I basically post it on Instagram stories or Facebook stories. That's it. So once I get kind of this little rebrand done of the website, I'll start stepping it up with regard to marketing the podcast, and I'm going to have a blog and a good explanation of what the coaching program is going to look like. So again, like I said, it's going to be for men, and it will be utilizing the modalities that I talked about, but then we'll enter into a phase where you start changing the brain, but you need to do that physical anchor to solidify that change. So that'll be, I have a couple guys that are friends of mine that are going to help me out with that. One guy is a friend of mine, Mike Lindley, who lives up in the Yukon, who's kind of an adventurer. And
that's the place to live if you're an adventurer.
Yeah, he's done some pretty wild things in his life, but we'd love to set up some outdoor adventures that will, cause a little bit of stress into people's lives, into men's lives, right? You have to learn how to deal with stress, but you go through and we might do some alpine camping, some long trekking, that kind of thing. I think it will help anchor changes in a man's brain. It's something that I think every man needs to experience, is a little bit of physical stress. And again, so another friend of mine that's going to help me out is the professor from the jiu-jitsu club. His name's Professor Anthony Tomov. That's what they call black belts, or professors. And he will help take men that have basically, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, maybe have never squared off against another man. Right. Yeah. Because there's a certain stress that comes along with that. Until you've grappled with somebody, been choked by somebody, you never really learn how to handle that stress. Like, you got to breathe, and you got to calm down and everything. And it's amazing the stresses that you get from training in jiu-jitsu. You can actually take that off the mat and apply it to your life. Like, everything seems to slow down, and everything seems a lot calmer after you've been choked out a few times. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but there are books that have been written on it by, like, the Gracie family, for example, that they talk about this stuff, and
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
And how it helps people with everyday stress and helps them evolve. So anyway, so we're looking at something like that. It's I want to take on like a couple clients a year type deal. It's not going to be anything huge. And it's again, I wanted to focus on men because one of the leading causes of death is suicide, and I think men under the age of 50. So there's obviously a problem going on out there. And I think if you can get back to your primal roots a little bit, maybe with some physical movement and struggle, then and along with some other psychological work, then there's hope that people can, men can rise above that and come out of that darkness and move into the light.
Well, I find it really interesting that, all the things that we've just talked about in this short conversation about your life have just interwoven themselves naturally into your desire to do this coaching. Like, whether it's your endurance racing or, finding jujitsu and all the things that it teaches, but you're able to just like blend those all together with the stuff that you've already learned and now be able to provide that as a coaching, platform. You've led an interesting life to be able to blend all of your interests together like that. And congratulations on that.
Well, I'm a seeker, Larry. I mean, I was pretty down and depressed at certain times in my life. So, self-help and trying to bring myself out of that darkness is something I've always focused on. And the thing that always came natural to me was physical movement, right? That was something that helped me. One thing I realized in my life, if I don't do exercise and I'm not moving, then I'm not going to be operating at peak levels, right? So that's what's led me to this. It's like, oh, right, this helped me. And, you know, and going and getting the training for neurolinguistic programming and timeline therapy. I did that with a woman her name's Gina Mollicon Long, and we did it in Whistler. And when I took the classes, I did it with, you know, an Olympian, business coaches from the US and Toronto. So it's really powerful stuff that works. But when you go do the training, you're also going through the breakthrough yourself. Right. So it's not just about, well, I'm going to go right, you know, she's going to teach us and that. You're going through the breakthrough at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then everything just, you know, again, it's all about evolution and evolving. And, you know,
So what level are you at, Chad?
Well, I think well, you can be stuck between levels, Larry. That's the thing. You don't just, it's not linear, right? You can have your toe still stuck in level 3, but you want to be in level 5. So now you got to finish level 3 to get to level 5. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you also, you know, it's like that, you know, like a quick way of that I kind of run people through this. Like if you told me you wanted to become an entrepreneur, I would ask you one question. This was taught to me by this woman, Gina, and this is very basic, and now I'm keeping it very basic. But if I asked you, if somebody broke into your house, Larry, and threatened your family, would you be able to take their life?
Right.
What would your answer be?
It would be very tough, but under that threat, I think I would have to do that. Yes.
Yes. And I, you know, well, if you wanted to be an entrepreneur, so that's level 3 right there, that question I asked you. So if you wanted to be an entrepreneur and I asked you, if you lost all your money tomorrow, would you make it back? If you lost your money today, would you make it back tomorrow?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Right? You got to have the confidence to get back on there and get it back.
But see, level 3 is power and survival. Level 5 is entrepreneurship, and you know what I mean? So you have to learn that survival piece in order to get to that entrepreneurial piece, right? So, and it's interesting, but if you ask people that question, you'd be shocked at how many men would say, oh, I don't know if I could take somebody's life. And it's like, really, if they were going to threaten your, you know, to take your child's life or your wife's life, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate. And then if you ask a true entrepreneur, and I have, it's like, would you make your money back? Absolutely. Like, and you know that it's not just, they're not just talking. It's like, no, they're going to make that money back. Right. So you learn those skills in each values level has those skills that you need to learn in order to evolve.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and like I said, you can be in multiple levels and you can get coached through them in a quick way rather than waiting for life to throw certain stresses at you and deal with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have time for that. Right.
Get prepared before it happens. And then you're able to react better when it actually does.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, so it's, I mean, you know, I
fascinating.
I talk about, I had the clear vision of this. Now I'm going to go really crazy here.
All right.
And some people might think this is wild, but I talk about it and I'm not, you know, shy about talking about it, but some people will think that it's crazy. But I also did some plant medicine ceremonies that helped clarify the direction that I wanted to go in my life with business and certain other areas of my life as well.
Can you expand on that? What?
Yeah. So I
did you go out into the desert?
No, it's I did ayahuasca. So, and for people listening that aren't familiar with it, it's not a drug you would go do for fun, because it's not fun.
Okay.
It's a teacher for sure. And I actually did a short podcast on it, on my experience.
Yeah.
But I was invited to go to a yahe ceremony. That's the Colombian version of ayahuasca. And it was life-changing. And I'm such a proponent of the use of plant medicines to help give clarity to your life. And so again, a good friend of mine who has a lot of experience in this world invited me to this ceremony. It was hosted by, you know, I'll call him a shaman, but he's not a shaman. He's like he's you know, but he was trained in Colombia, in the Putumayo region of Colombia, on how to
guide you through this.
Yeah, and then so he's the guide. So it's a full indigenous ceremony, and there's a lot of music and everything, and yeah, it's 3 days. You do it over 3 days. You do it each night. The ceremonies last from like 8 at night until 8 or 9 the next morning.
Oh wow!
And but it's a cleanse. You eat really healthy, so you cleanse, and then you basically fast while you do it, and I guess the best way it was explained to me, and this is fully accurate, is that there's demons that live in our unconscious, in our nervous system, and ayahuasca or yahe enables you to go into your nervous system with a flashlight and seek out the demons, and you go to battle with them.
Oh wow!
And you set intention prior to going, and which basically you're asking questions, and they're answered, because our unconscious mind has all the answers about ourselves. It's pretty high intelligence. So anyway, you tap into it, and it was life-changing for sure.
And when you say unconscious, are there things there that you don't even know that come out? Or is it only brought out in the fact that you do know what you're seeking?
Well, I mean, we could go so deep into this, Larry.
All right, the 30-second version of it. But yes or no?
In your unconscious, you know that it's like, you know, you blink your eyes, you breathe, your immune system, your gut, you name it. It's just, it's there. It's an intelligence. It's also, it's passed down generation to generation, right? There's an intelligence to it that goes back from who knows how long, how many generations, right? So you actually gives you access to tap into that. And that's no different than, like, you know, what the yogis would believe and that kind of thing, right? It's so but it's real. I mean, and you know, people in the Amazon have been using ayahuasca and stuff for thousands of years. So now it's just there. It can be accessed here now,
right?
But it has to be done by the right person. You really got to be aware of that. My friend that I was invited to do this with has been involved with like 130 ceremonies. He's all over the world. I actually realize he's kind of he's a healer himself. So anyway, so it was life-changing. I'm a huge proponent of it, and if anybody wants to learn more about it, they can reach out to me directly, and I could talk to them about it. You know,
4 hours apparently. And obviously this is the stuff that's on your podcast as well, and going to be on your website and your new blog when all that comes out. So more reason for people to check you out at chadbentleycoaching.com. Did I get that right?
chadbentleycoaching.com. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Yeah. Well, we did get one more message in from our friend down under here. So I think this might be directed to maybe both of us. I'm not sure. He's saying that he's looking for a crew to come and do the Ogopogo Extreme that was recently announced.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, that looked pretty good.
Yeah. So don't worry, Nick, we got you covered. If it's not us, we'll find somebody for you.
Oh yeah, there's no shortage of people, Nick. I'll be around, Nick. I'd definitely crew for him on that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think that's going to be a tough race, that one.
I looked at that website. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chad, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening tonight to come and do this live stream with me to celebrate our 5th anniversary together of
Yeah.
the first episode of 515, the Ultra Podcast. It's been great for people that are watching this on YouTube. Don't be afraid to click this QR code and come over and listen to some of these podcasts. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, of course. That helps to get more information out to other people and your friends. It's all connected, by the algorithms, so that helps everybody out. And of course, you can listen to Chad's very first episode with me, where he talks also about some of this stuff that we've been talking about tonight. And go check out his chadbentleycoaching.com as well. Thanks again, Chad. I really appreciate it. Let's not do 5 years in between catch-ups for the podcast next time. I mean, we see each other from time to time, but people need to hear this stuff that you're learning.
Yeah, you know what? I can probably articulate it better in writing than I can talking about it. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks again. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will see you the next time we have another catch up. And maybe it'll be with Nick. We'll see if we can catch up with him too. All right. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Larry.
Bye-bye.
Hey, buddy.